I had the most incredible conversation that changed the way I look at my grief forever. And you'll never guess who it was with. In this video, I'm going to tell you what I learnt, how I changed, and who I was talking to. If you're living with grief or trying to outrun its pain, then this might change how you see it. For those of you seeing my previous videos, you'll know that some time ago I lost my partner of 19 years when he died suddenly in front of me. I had lost people before in many different ways, but nothing prepared me for the heart-shattering pain of losing the person I loved more than anything in the world. In the blink of an eye, everything had changed forever. I no longer knew who I was, how I fitted into the world, or what my future would even look like. If I'm totally honest, I saw no future at all. I saw no hope. What I entered then was a period of my life where I did everything I could to avoid facing the cold, hard truth of what had happened, what was happening to me. I ran away. In fact, I did a video on this period and why actually running away was a really important part of my healing process. If you're living with grief, you might find it helpful, so I've put a link to the video in the description. Anyway, after trying to outrun my grief, it, of course, eventually caught up with me. Even though I fought it with all my might, it would overpower me and would send me spiralling for days, weeks even. I didn't know how to be with my grief, so it consumed me, no matter how hard I resisted. Then one day a friend introduced me to this thing called breathwork. I always thought breathwork was about maintaining respiratory health or learning how to stay calm in stressful situations. But this was something different. And it started me on a journey of discovering the true power of conscious breathing. It was during a conscious connected breath session that I was doing at home where everything changed for me. As I followed the practice, lying on my bed, I suddenly became aware of a figure standing next to me. And even though my eyes were closed, I could see him clearly. He looked like he was made of smoke, but he was very much present, shrouded in a heavy, dark, hooded robe. And where his face would have been, there was only pitch blackness. Imagine the ghost of Christmas Future in A Christmas Carol. That's exactly what he looked like. Somehow I knew instinctively who he was. He was the personification of my grief. It was so powerful. No words at all were spoken, but I knew exactly what was being communicated. Now, you might think this sounds terrifying. I could see why, but the truth is it wasn't. It was incredibly beautiful. I just felt so much love for me radiating from him. And without any words, he told me that his very existence, his whole purpose of being, was an act of love towards me. I was in shock. All this time I'd been running away from and fighting his help. I'd felt lost, but all I'd needed to do was stop and allow myself to cry when the tears came. Allow myself to collapse when I needed to collapse. Allow myself to speak of my pain without fear when it was time to speak of my pain. So instead of running from my pain, I decided to sit with it, knowing that it wasn't there to cause me any pain. It was there to help me cope with the pain I already carried. Grief stopped feeling like stabs in my heart and started to feel like a warm hug. Now, don't get me wrong, grief still hurts. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but I'm no longer scared of it. In fact, you could say I hug it back as if it's an old friend. That one breathwork experience, which lasted, I don't know, no more than 30 minutes, completely transformed how I see grief. I realised that grief wasn't there to destroy me. It was there because it loves me. I no longer had to fight against it every step of the way. And I know everyone's journey with grief is different. But for me, the biggest shift was learning that grief can actually be a form of love, a way our hearts hold on to what happened, to what mattered the most. If you're struggling with grief, whether it's something fresh or something you've been carrying for years, Try this. Find a quiet space. Allow yourself to breathe deeply, gently, continuously for a few minutes. And notice what feelings come up. And then if you're ready, instead of pushing them away, try to meet them as if they were an old friend. Ask yourself, if my grief could speak, what would it say to me? What if it's here out of love and not to harm me? And if this all feels too much, know that that's okay. Just take one step at a time. It's normal to feel lost or overwhelmed by grief. And there is no right or wrong way to feel. And you're not failing if it still hurts, no matter how long it's been. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means allowing yourself to feel, to be, and to live again. You're not alone in this. If you'd like to explore breathwork as a tool for healing, I run free online sessions for my newsletter subscribers. There's a link in the description if you'd like to join. And if this story resonated with you, or if you've had your own conversations with grief that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. But only if you're comfortable. Sharing our stories like this can often help people feel less alone. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, give it a like, but more importantly, share it with someone who you think might need it. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. And remember, even the darkest grief can hold an unexpected love.